everybody can and everybody
Mhm.
should dance.
And there's a lot of exploitation, there's a lot of manipulation. Mhm.
Your name is more important than your fame. Elements of whacking and voguing are definitely included in styles like jazz. Mumbai as a city was not very appealing to me. Jazz as a dance form kind of stemmed from the African Americans that were taken as slaves. But yeah, what goes
Uh-huh.
behind the scenes is questionable. The Indian classical dance form. It's the mother of all dance forms. It is a very common misconception. Kalaripayattu is based on animal movement. Even ballet lacks that. Michael Jackson, Beyonce, all these people, they kind of shaped jazz into what it is. Because Delhi से जो लोग Bombay आते हैं, उन लोगों को थोड़ा difficulty होती है to settle in. They don't know the bones in their body. They don't know the muscles in their body.
The reality dance shows.
It's all razzmatazz. It's all blingy. We provide a 100% scholarship. We would know that there isn't a lot of money.
This was started by LGBTQ community in America.
That is where I have a problem with social media. There is Abhivyakti City Arts Project, like
Huh.
the biggest festival. It's like there is no quick fix to dance. Aerial as an art form in itself has taken the center stage. People, we know about Saroj Khan. That in India, the institutes are so ill-equipped, extraordinary with both of them, Ashley as well as Terence Lewis. How many people after the reality show do we remember today?
Hi friends, welcome to my channel Chat with Shweta Jain. In today's episode, we are going to discover the transformative power of dance with Gopal Agarwal. We are honored to have Gopal here with us. He's a visionary in contemporary dance. He is a creative director of Dance Inc. India in Ahmedabad. Gopal is instrumental in shaping the contemporary dance narratives in India. He has trained in dance works under Ashley Lobo and with Terence Lewis in Mumbai. He is a unique blend of technique and creativity, and his current role as a dance curator with Abhivyakti City Arts Projects in Ahmedabad further showcases his commitment to the art form. Join us as we delve into Gopal's journey, his inspiration, and his future commitments and vision for the contemporary dance forms in India.
So, Gopal, you were saying about learning under Terence and Ashley Lobo.
Yeah, I think like I was saying that both the artists are so great in their own right, and the one thing that I really got to learn from the both of them is that how to have that global outlook to the Indianness that we possess as artists. So I think that sense of professionalism, that sense of commitment, that sense of global perspective was something very extraordinary with both of them, Ashley as well as Terence Lewis, both of them.
And can you take us back to that moment when you first realized this is what you want to do?
Um, I think it all started when I was very young. I was like probably in the fourth grade or the fifth grade. Like it all starts, in our childhood majorly. So my mom, she was one of those mothers who wanted her child to experience everything, every activity, every art form. So I was put in these dance classes, and like I said, I come from a very small town, and those dance classes
Okay, that
really,
early.
yeah, put that seed in me where I mean, that was my first exposure, any exposure to dance. So I think it all began there, and when from there I moved to Delhi. I did my schooling from DPS, Delhi Public School, Noida, and that is when I first got professionally exposed to dance, when I was back in like what, ninth grade, probably. And since then there was just no looking back.
Right. So, both as a contemporary dancer and a jazz dancer, what led you to pursue, these two particular styles?
I think jazz as a I began my professional dance journey with jazz. I'm primarily a jazz trained dancer, so that came first in my life. And jazz by the outlook is very appealing. Like you have these. Jazz is nothing but an international version of Bollywood. What we see, so it's all razzmatazz, it's all blingy, it's all very sleek and very visually appealing. So jazz was like my first love, and love at first sight kind of a thing, because it just visually looked aspirational. right? And when I
Right.
went
Okay.
to Terence to Mumbai, uh, Terence,
Right.
the contemporary format gave me the soul. You know, when we go to the outside,
Huh.
when we look at the superficial world, we feel that something is missing from the inside.
Right.
That something missing was contemporary because it fed my soul completely. It was so personal. It was so humane that it made everything
Hmm. Hmm.
else
Hmm.
take a back seat completely.
Okay. So, now your dance studio is based in Ahmedabad, but you studied in Delhi, then you further studied in Mumbai, and you're from Nasi Monjay Institute in Mumbai.
Yes, Narsi Monji College of
Is
Commerce
that
and Economics.
correct?
Yes.
So, what made you settle in Ahmedabad?
It so happened that, I was in Mumbai, and when I was teaching at Terence, and, my college was going on side by side, and I was teaching as an instructor, as a faculty for their professional diploma in dance course. Uh, it so happened that Mumbai as a city was not very appealing to me. Like I spent 5 years there, but I kind of got a little because Delhi से जो लोग Mumbai आते हैं उन लोगों को थोड़ा difficulty होती है to settle in. So I think I had my hang-ups about Bombay, and I always wanted to move away from Mumbai, and and that is why a lot of people I met in Bombay
Okay.
were from Ahmedabad, and they
Right.
I heard a lot about Ahmedabad, and there was there were these constant nudge to be in Ahmedabad, and I didn't
Okay.
want to live in Delhi, like go back to Delhi, because I didn't want to, you're at that age where you don't want to be with your live with your parents, and you want an independent life and stuff like that. So Ahmedabad, I came first. I did my recce. I came here for 1 month at my friend's place. I stayed here, and I really fell in love with the city. It's culturally so nuanced. It's a little open, talking about like physically and infrastructurally. There is space. There is time to breathe. So I'm a big advocate of being at a place which feeds your personality, and
Right.
Ahmedabad just matched with that.
Okay. But like to somebody who has lived in Delhi or to somebody who has lived in Mumbai, Ahmedabad is a smaller city, you know, and one
Yes.
can't imagine, moving from, working with Terence and then, in such a big city and then moving to a smaller city.
Correct.
Opportunities may be less. And at that
Yeah.
time when you started, was that the case?
Exactly. So I think as an artist, my vision had always been to create opportunities for
Right,
myself and people around me.
right.
So I rather on the other hand, I might slightly disagree with you here that
Okay.
Mumbai and Delhi are somewhere they are too full. I mean,
Okay.
they have reached a point of saturation,
Right.
and there is just so much of talent and so much of infrastructural availability. At the same
Okay.
time, people are hungry to grab on to the opportunities, but nobody is there to provide it to them. So rather than me looking for that opportunity, I have always been an advocate of creating one for myself. And that is why Ahmedabad just made sense to me, because I created that kind of opportunity for my own self to
Wow.
further, the cause of art for myself and for the others. And that is where Dancing India was born.
Okay. So tell us about Dancing India.
Yeah.
And my next question is about new dance forms that I learned that are taught in your institute. That is whacking and voguing. I've never heard of them. Give us a bit of a background and
All right. So our base in Dancing India is so first of all, Dancing India is a institute
right.
that I found in 2015 in
Okay.
Ahmedabad, and
Okay.
its primary goal is to provide quality dance education, and
Right.
we have various parallels running in the company. So there is a parallel running for certification in movement arts, which is like for professional dancers who want to make a career in dance. There is our movement exploration and dance discovery courses, which is the MEDD program, which is like a level based structured training course. And then there is a Spotlight open class program, which is like for the Bollywood buffs, like the first open class format choreography classes in India that started like 10 years back. And, where people can just walk in and register per class basis. Now it's become like a very normal thing. But
Hmm.
back then, 10 years back, that was still unheard of as a concept and a format. So, Spotlight also is another parallel that runs at Dancing India. Now, our primary base of the dances are jazz and contemporary.
Right.
But like we all know that jazz and contemporary themselves, they come from ballet. So
Hmm.
the training, the base of the training has to be ballet. And on that base, the building is formed of jazz and contemporary, and they branch out as dance forms. Whacking and voguing, we do not per se teach as a separate dance form, but the
Okay.
elements of whacking and voguing are definitely included in styles like jazz. And now that we are moving towards this cutting edge technological age, so even the dance forms are kind of getting evolved. So even in
Right.
contemporary, there is a lot of scope for various movement vocabularies, whacking and
Hmm.
voguing included, which we do use in
So,
contemporary forms as well.
what really sort of intrigued me or interested me about whacking and voguing, one, I mean, I haven't seen many dance shows. That is my exposure to dance, contemporary dance. But I read that this was started by LGBTQ community in America, which is a very interesting premise.
It,
And
it always happens like that, Shweta. Like, you cannot separate society from art and art from society. Anything which is new, anything
agree.
which is something revolutionary,
Hmm.
begins with a rebellion,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
kind of takes shape of art ultimately. So even jazz, if I
True.
say, jazz as a dance form kind of stemmed from the African Americans that were taken as slaves to America.
Ah,
And because those African Americans were so oppressed, they started, rebelling against their employers in these underground scenes and, in these gatherings. And those are the origins of jazz. And
sure.
then when it got into the studios and watered down, and the dance form, with the advent of technology, television, music, pop
Hmm.
era,
Hmm.
all these things, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, all these
Hmm.
people, they kind of shaped jazz into what it is
What it
today.
is. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
legendary dancers, legendary directors, choreographers like Bob Fosse or Jack Cole, all these people were not just dancers, they were also
Hmm.
directors, and they were already in the field of arts. And they took
Right.
jazz from that rebellion and that revolution and
Hmm.
made it into what we see today.
Hmm.
It's like
Hmm.
that. So
Hmm.
every
Hmm.
art form kind of comes from that sense of revolution and that rebellion.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. That's a very interesting take that every art form comes from some sort of rebellion, some sort of hunger to maybe show their talent or to be seen in society.
Absolutely.
So I'm coming to my next question, which I was referring to earlier, my exposure to contemporary dance. Although I have myself learned a little bit of salsa, but that was for a very short while. So you've previously, I mean, once you shared that you're very uncomfortable for dance being labeled as an entertainment or something that is only for entertainment. Could you elaborate
Exactly.
on why do you feel that way? And otherwise, how would you like dance to be perceived as?
I I really feel very small when somebody says that okay, dance is just for entertainment, because what we don't realize, it's the most beautiful expression of the body because it's so physical. A pianist would need a piano to play. A painter would need a brush and a set of paint and a canvas to paint at. But for a dancer, the body is the only instrument.
Hmm.
That is the instrument for a dancer. So to reduce it down to just entertainment, yes, it's a part of dance. Entertainment is a part of dance and it's a
Sure.
part of the objective. But
Yes.
uh, from entertainment, what we don't realize, and I heard somebody say it very beautifully just a couple of days back, that from entertainment we don't realize that dance takes us from entertainment to enlightenment. It
Mm-hmm.
really does. It Entertainment is just the beginning, and then when once you are in it, once you really unlock the potential of it, it takes you towards that sort of enlightenment. That is why even in the Indian scriptures that you read, so many of our saints, our revered people, also danced. Whether it was
Mm-hmm.
Mirabai, whether it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they all went towards, they used dance as a means for a bigger end. So I feel that dance has so much more to offer, not just spiritually but also anatomically. It is literally, you're talking about bones and muscles and joints, and you're talking about psychological, neurological, and physiological connection. So it is so scientific at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. It is so spiritual and philosophical at the same time. So
Spiritual
just
for
to,
sure.
yeah,
Yes.
so to just
Mm-hmm.
reduce it down to entertainment is something that is just looking at probably 0.001% of what
Mm-hmm.
dance is ultimately. It's about social gatherings. It's about, like, think about it. Today, if you want to celebrate at a party, the
Mm-hmm.
first instinct for a human being is to dance.
Is to dance.
It's your first instinct when you want to celebrate your happiness with somebody. And so it is not just to entertain, it is also to
Mm-hmm.
feel good. It is also to, and after COVID, it has become so much more important, that sense of self love, that
Right.
dance is at the epicenter of it.
Mm-hmm.
So just entertainment is just like looking at it in a very myopic way.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's a very nice way of expressing one's emotions.
Absolutely.
So next is that dance and fame are somewhat intertwined.
Hmm.
How social media has affected, uh, whether in a positive way or I don't think in a negative way, in any case. But how has it helped talents come up?
See, I said this a couple of days back, that in any creative field,
Mm,
your name is more important than your fame. If you have a name for yourself, in the sense that people know that you're hardworking, people know that
right.
you're honest with your art,
Mm,
people know that you are creatively invested in what you do, I
right.
think that is much more important than what fame and our running towards fame is.
Okay.
So I think the name takes precedence over fame, in
Mm,
especially in the creative field. People
mm,
appreciate you for your honesty, for your creative pursuit, for your for your hard work towards your art form. So that is one thing. Social media definitely, on one hand, has opened the doors of exploration 100 times than what it was during my time when I was training. There was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there was no YouTube. YouTube was just coming in and things like that. It
yeah,
wasn't that popular.
it
So
wasn't.
for us, that kind of visual exposure was, it's a
Not
good and
there.
bad thing. It wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
But on the other hand, that is what led us to whole and solely focus on our training.
Yes. Work
Without
very, very hard. Sweat it out.
Today, it has become,
Mm,
it has, kind of exploded so much to
mm,
the point that it has become a distraction rather than a point of exploration. That is
mm,
where I have a problem with social media. Social media is great. I use social media as well, and I put a lot of reels, a lot of videos, a lot of dance related stuff, but not at the cost of losing my focus and my vision of why am I dancing in the first place. I'm dancing so that I fulfill my creative pursuit,
right. Mm,
not for
mm,
the
mm.
number of likes and the number of comments that I have. Now, obviously, it is
Or
argued
even
that
the money that one gets.
absolutely, and
Mm,
dance as a in any creative field, we would know that there isn't a lot of money. So for that, I think social media has really worked well for a
mm,
lot of people, and huge
mm,
respect for that, because it is a hard job to do. It is
Right.
not as easy as it is made to look on social media, that you just
Of
put up a
course.
reel and you'll get the likes, and it's a total different machinery and industry that we are
Yes.
looking at.
Yes.
So we can't belittle it, but
Huh.
definitely we can't also lose perspective
Hmm.
as to why we are in this creative field
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
dance.
A little bit of related question here. How do you perceive the television industry and the dance shows, the reality dance shows? Because when one see, back in the footage that one sees where there's a lot of exploitation, there's a lot of manipulation, and
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
dance shows you see the winners are, they get everything on a platter, but actually that's not the case.
see, what I would say is that the creative team does their job on the basis of what sells.
Hmm.
So even they have to get the numbers, even they have to get the viewership, even they have to get the eyeballs going. So that is why they do what they do and they plan what they plan.
Right.
Ultimately, it's also on the society, as a society, what are we consuming?
Hmm.
And what is it that we are interested in? I mean, I have nothing against reality shows. I think there is some incredible talent that these reality shows has highlighted, and that is something beautiful. I don't think that in eons of lifetime those dancers would have gotten that kind of viewership or that kind of acknowledgement that these
Exposure.
reality shows and the
Hmm.
exposure that these
Hmm.
reality shows have provided them. But at the same time, it falls back to the artist as to, will you lose perspective as to
Okay.
why you are, because the dance reality show is going to get over sooner or later,
Of course.
right?
Hmm.
What will
Hmm.
stay with you is your art, is your
Hmm. Hmm.
dance.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now that, like you said, like we were talking about the name and the fame thing, the fame
Exactly.
is not forever.
Hmm.
Fame is very fickle. Today, the
Hmm.
reality show is there, you have the viewership. How many people after the reality show do we remember today?
Hmm. Once out of spotlight, of course, you have to create your own.
So at the end of the day, you need to pay attention to your conscience,
Hmm.
your food for soul. That is your art.
Hmm.
You will
Hmm.
have to fall back to art,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
viewership will only take you that far. What you
Sure.
do
Hmm.
with that viewership,
Hmm.
that is a different question altogether. And the reality shows, they do what they do. We know that it gets pre-manipulated and all of
Hmm.
that. It's
Hmm.
hardly any reality, but the talent that you see there is absolutely real.
Real.
Nobody can morph that on
No, of
national
course not.
television, you know?
Huh.
So
Yeah.
that is something very real. But yeah, what goes
Huh.
behind the scenes in terms of the selling of that product
Right.
is questionable.
Right. 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 So, from your perspective, can dance be also studied? Or is it a very physical form? It can only be learned and practiced and not really studied, as
I
in through
love
books?
question. Thank you for asking this question. Dance can absolutely 100%ly studied. It should be studied. And
Okay.
good, if you're joining a good institute to learn dance, please
Right.
pay a specific attention to how they treat dance. Do they treat it as just something that you get physically, or do they treat it as a subject in its own?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
always
Hmm.
say that, like any other profession, dance needs to be studied. You cannot become a doctor or a lawyer in one day. You
Of
can't become
course.
a dancer in one day.
Of
So
course.
it needs deeper study. Ultimately, for a well rounded dancer and a
Hmm.
holistic dancer, you need to know where it comes from. You need
Hmm.
to know the structural nuance of it, like it happens in Indian classical dance forms. There is
Yes.
a proper theory to everything, and
Yes.
it is a very common misconception that theoretical approach is not there in the Western dance forms. It is.
Okay.
It
Even
is
I didn't know about this. I
it
mean,
is just that in India, the institutes are so ill equipped, the ones that
hmm.
teach international dance forms, that they themselves don't know how to impart that kind of education. You
Right.
know,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
there are a lot of, like, the ones that I studied, both the Dance Works and the Terence Professional Training Institute, Mumbai. They both were very theoretical, research driven institute.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
we had proper subjects, we had to study them, we had to
Take
be
an exam?
like an exam. I gave my diploma exam when I was doing my diploma in dance from Terence Professional Training Institute.
Wow.
There was written and practical exams, both.
Wow.
And
Okay.
for every subject, right from yoga to ballet to jazz to contemporary, every subject. It's a ballet has proper subjects that
Really amazing.
proper examinations. Sorry, I
Hmm.
mean ballet has proper examinations. Every dance form, every Western dance form, also has a theoretical and a research aspect to it. It's just
Hmm.
that like the institutes in India are not that equipped
Hmm.
in terms of infrastructure and the people to impart
Right.
that kind of education. Yet
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
are some who are doing a great job at that in India.
Hmm. 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 Thank you for answering that. I mean, I knew because there are two trained Bharatanatyam dancers in my family, and they have taken all the exams to the last level. So I just knew about Indian classical dancers having exams and proper studies. I didn't know about Western form of dance also
Absolutely. But it
being
comes
studied.
down to again now, what do you want to like your approach towards teaching? Like this
Hmm.
goes to the teachers and the instructors and the faculty and the
Right.
institute owners. What exactly do you want to impart? If you want to give
Right.
them a holistic dance education,
Huh.
then you can't escape the theoretical and the research aspect of movement
Hmm. Hmm.
and the anatomical aspect of it as well, because it's so physical. I'm stunned that there are people who are pursuing dance professionally from a lot of institutes
Hmm.
without any anatomical knowledge. They don't know the bones in their body, they don't know the muscles in their body, they don't know the joints and the physiological aspects of the body. It's really important, really, really important.
That's a very
We do that
interesting point
majorly,
you
like
have made.
at Dancing India, we have the course certification in movement arts, where
Hmm.
we impart that kind of anatomical and physiological lectures to the
Hmm.
students so that they understand their body better. Diet and nutrition for a
Wow.
dancer, all these things, they are so
Hmm.
important when you're
Hmm.
imparting professional dance education.
So I wanted to ask you this question later, but I'll ask you now. Do you think that anybody can dance? That's also a tagline for one of the institutes. Because at certain age, your body sort of gives up. You become a certain shape, or you don't have that strength. So at later stage in life, if you want to pick up dance, can somebody do that?
You definitely can. Anybody can dance, and that is something that I'm very, very, I truly believe in. Everybody should dance is another thing that I believe in. And what coming to your question about the age factor,
Hmm.
it's like with any performing art, to be very honest. Age takes a toll on all of
Hmm.
us. But
Hmm.
like I said, I was talking about it the other day only, and I said that yes, you age, and your body will not be able to do a lot of things when you age. So probably you won't have the dancing prowess
Hmm.
that you
Hmm.
once had when you were 19 or 16 or 15.
Of course.
But on the other hand, you will have the wisdom,
Hmm.
you have the knowledge, you will have the experience of a literally more than half of your life to
Hmm.
impart to future dancers and
Hmm.
the audience.
Hmm.
And I recently went to Vienna for the Impulse Dance Festival, and there's this amazing legendary dancer, Joe Elgado. He is
Hmm.
literally 70 plus.
Oh my God.
And yes, physically he won't be able to show you a lot of things and da da
Huh.
da. But his one instruction that he utters from his mouth comes with so much of clarity, so much of wisdom, and so much of depth
Huh.
that in a classroom with that one person, there is a class of 80 people,
Right.
and it is pin drop silence, and everybody is rapt with attention listening
Hmm.
to that guy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Recently, there are so many examples. We know about Saroj Khan.
Of
Uh,
course.
she changed the canvas of Bollywood dance
Uh,
completely, and
uh,
she was dancing till she died, literally. And
I want to interrupt and tell you I have had a opportunity to interact with her.
oh, beautiful, beautiful. So you know what I mean,
Oh
right?
yes. She
And
had grit and she had, I mean, her focus and everything.
exactly.
Mm.
Recently coming to Ahmedabad, we all know Kumiben Padma Bhushan Kumudini Lakhya ji. She recently passed away. She was a Kathak exponent, unparalleled. And she was a legend when it comes to Kathak. And when she used to speak with her eyes, literally,
Mm.
till the end. Pandit Birju Maharaj ji. I mean,
Mm.
there are n number of examples that I can
Mm.
give you who kind of encompassed and transcended age when it
Mm.
comes to
Mm.
dance. So
Sure.
I think everybody can and everybody
Mm.
should
Mm.
dance till the
Mm.
end.
Mm. Okay, so beautifully answered. And the next question is that, or you have practiced Western form of dances. What is your opinion of Indian classical dance forms? And you, I mean, in your institute, you also teach Kalaripayattu and Bharatanatyam. Of course, Kalaripayattu is not a dance form, but it's a martial arts form. So, what is your opinion about these?
I think for every Western dancer, Western movement artist, whether it's contemporary or jazz or ballet, you should have one go at least at once in your life with the Indian classical dance form. It's the mother of all dance form, and
Okay.
it comes from the Natya Shastra, and it's the
Yes.
oldest treatise on performing arts
Perform.
ever in the
Yes.
world.
Yes.
So even at our institute with the certification in movement arts program,
Hmm.
that is why it is incorporated in there in the curriculum, is because the framework and the depth that Indian classical dance forms possess, the Western dance form, even ballet for that matter, which is known as the mother of Western dance forms,
Hmm.
even ballet lacks that. And it's very
Hmm.
new. It's like blip in the human timeline. And that is why the depth that the Indian classical dance forms provide, the Western dance forms have a long way to go to even touch that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
definitely.
Hmm.
It is for
Hmm.
every Western dancer out there. If you're watching this, you must get at least a one experience of an Indian classical dance form, because the rasas, the emotion, the sort of physicality, the frame of the body, the knowledge, the aesthetic that Indian classical dance form has, the international dance forms, they are very new yet to touch that.
Hmm. So, one more thing. Why only Kalaripayattu of all the martial art forms?
It is more to do with physicality.
Okay, okay. Hmm.
Martial arts, again, Kalaripayattu is one of the oldest martial arts form in the world.
Hmm.
So the thing is that because it's Indian, we feel that, oh, it might not be up to the mark.
Hmm.
But we don't realize that everything that is Indian, it has come out of a lot of thought and a lot of research by our ancestors, and a
True.
lot of they literally spent years, and because we come from that Guru Shishya Parampara, it
Huh.
was constantly being renewed and rejuvenated, and given a new perspective every time it passed on from a guru to shishya to guru to shishya to guru,
Hmm.
like that, you know. And that is why it makes it so rich. And
Hmm.
Kalaripayat, it is so physically demanding,
It's
at
very
the same
draining. I
time
have seen live
so bad.
classes. It's very
Absolutely. And
difficult.
it teaches you how to be strong. At
Hmm.
the same time, Kalaripayat takes a lot from the animal movement,
Okay.
like the movement of the elephant, the movement of the horse, the movement of a snake. So
Hmm.
a lot of Kalaripayat is based on animal movement. And today we are talking about, in contemporary, we are talking about vocabulary like fighting monkey, and these vocabularies that are coming from the animal movement. We already have that
Have
with
that.
Kalaripayattu.
Right,
And
right, right.
that
Okay.
is why we have put together Kalaripayattu and Contemporary in CIMA, because in our program, because it it gels well. It
Mm,
gels very well, and
mm,
it
mm,
comes from eons and centuries of just constant renewal and knowledge. So,
mm,
what
mm,
better way?
mm.
I'm very proud of that fact. We have this heritage with us.
In fact, you were one of the few, yours is one of the few institutes where I've heard they also teach Kalaripayattu along with contemporary and classical dances. Because anyway, Kalaripayattu in itself, it's not really very popular out of Kerala or South India. And
Yeah.
here also in Delhi, I've seen that where there are a lot of Malayali population, there they have Kalaripayat institutes. So it's very not very well known, and that's why I asked you, why do you teach it in your institute?
Absolutely. I think even beyond ethnicity, it is about when you're a dancer, you need to just see what is good for your body and your mind.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Kalaripayattu just provides that. I
Hmm.
mean,
Hmm. Hmm. So I'll come to my next question. Um, for someone outside the world of dance in India, like a common person who doesn't dance, it's often seen primarily in movies. I mean, any kind of dance. To an Indian, the first exposure of dance is, unless it's in their culture, it's in their family, they would have seen classical dance forms. But otherwise, it's always the movies. It's always the TV or maybe theater to certain extent. So, how have you seen the landscape of dance getting evolved in today's India,
it's
especially in last two
it
decades?
absolutely. I think the exposure has completely exponentially increased towards taking dance as a career and to be a professional dancer. Uh, like you said, of course, we've grown up watching Bollywood films and the Indian film industry and the dances that happened in on the screen and all of that. But I think people today are more aware when it comes to what exactly entails in
Mm,
dance. It cannot
mm,
just be about the movies.
mm,
It is something deeper, something richer, and India as a whole is kind of going through this evolving phase where we are growing economically, and in as a global power also we are kind of stepping up and coming in the spotlight. So
sure.
I think it is really coming down to the roots. It is
Mm,
really giving the people that kind of awareness that okay, dance is also beyond movies and beyond Indian classical as well. There are different
mm,
things happening everywhere that we can imbibe and then, really get into it full fledgedly. There are so many musicals that are happening in which there is some impeccable dancing that is there, whether you see Raja Diraj or Mughal Azam. All these dance musicals have taken a center stage where there is some impeccable dancing and choreography happening. And that is why the exposure has grown immensely.
mhm,
Uh, on the other hand, because this exposure of social media, people have this misconception that people who are these artists who are putting their reels on social media, even the other people can do it like this. There is no quick fix. There is no quick fix to dance.
mm.
They don't realize that people who are putting those kind of reels have gone to 10 years of dance training to put that
Exactly.
kind of artistry out there. So that
Completely
is what I want
agreed.
to tell. Yeah,
Yes,
you need to
yes.
invest in training. You need to
Mm-hmm.
invest in learning dance
Mm-hmm.
to in order to then probably do whatever it is that you want to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, what is this MIF movement framework you've developed in your institute?
This is my movement vocabulary that I'm still working on, and
Mm.
I'm kind of experimenting a lot with it. It's called movement intelligence, or MI.
Yeah. Okay,
It is
MI. Okay.
basically MI. So it's movement
Right.
intelligence, and
Okay.
like how we have artificial intelligence as AI,
Yeah.
movement intelligence is MI, and
Right.
this basically came from the thought that the body can think on its own.
Hmm.
The body has a mind of its own, and
Hmm.
sometimes the body can guide the mind. And
Okay.
when we open the channels in our body,
Right.
and it really awakens and it is really aware
Hmm.
about what is happening
Hmm.
in the moment, it can really take over the brain and the mind at a lot
Hmm.
of times.
Hmm. Hmm.
And sometimes the mind becomes the hindrance because there are 100 things going on in our mind, the insecurities, the judgment.
Hmm.
We feel so low about ourselves so many times. But
Hmm.
when we give a chance to the body and the physiological aspect of us, we give that a chance, and we will see that mind is rather a roadblock to our
Hmm.
full potential. So that is where
Okay.
MI was born. So it
Right.
involves a lot of tools, lot of exercises,
Hmm.
and a lot of methodology that goes into putting matter over mind and not mind over matter. So it's like that.
Okay. That's an interesting explanation. Matter over mind, huh?
Yeah,
I've always heard of mind over matter, but that's the other way around.
exactly.
Hmm. So you also collaborate on theatrical productions, right? So, does your background in dance inform your and enrich your work in theater when you're doing theater?
Uh, Absolutely. I think for every theater artist, again, you should be exposed to dance once in your lifetime because it just makes you fearless because you unlock the potential of your physical body.
Hmm.
So as an individual, you just become so fearless that you're not
Not
that the
conscious
only
of
thing.
yourself.
Absolutely, you're
Hmm.
not conscious. You're not titan, and theater is
You're
a
not
lot about
inhibited,
body
you know.
language.
Huh.
Yeah,
You're not. There's no
theater is a
inhibition.
lot about body language, and
Hmm.
they say that theater is less dialogue and more body language, and dance
Hmm.
gives you.
Hmm. 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 Okay.
Then comes the voice modulation and all of that in theater, but that
Sure.
is a different aspect. But if
Huh.
you have a dance exposure as a theater artist, you will become absolutely uninhibited in your approach
Hmm.
towards
Hmm.
theater. So
Hmm.
we do a lot of theatrical productions in which there are no dialogues, because as a dancer, as a contemporary dancer, when you put dialogues, you're kind of spoon feeding the audience, which no
Hmm.
artist would want to tell their story directly, because they want the audience to think
Hmm.
and go
Hmm.
and be intrigued. Intrigue comes when you want to, solve the puzzle. You don't want it to be served on a platter.
That.
So that is why you wouldn't want to use a lot of dialogues
Hmm.
to make the audience understand. So in contemporary movement now there is a new branch that is coming in, which is called physical theater, where there is
Okay.
less of dialogue and more of movement and body language, and there is a lot of contemporary dance influence uh,
Okay.
to that theatrical approach. Yeah,
So audience has to deduce themselves what the artist wants to convey. Hmm. Okay.
correct. Exactly. It's
Okay.
almost like an abstract painting that you see, and you try to make sense of it
Okay.
as to
Right.
what is
Right.
the art.
Right. Okay. That's also very interesting. And so, what current projects are you involved in? I know one project, and you may want to talk about it, Abhivyakti City Arts Project. But other than that, what are your current projects?
So I am currently involved in a lot of different things. Like I said, like our company is going. It has introduced a lot of courses in
Mm-hmm.
its span, and the CIMA Certification Movement Arts course is one of our flagship courses where we are training the future generation of dancers. And that course also involves a student exchange program with artists from Mumbai. So our dancers have now traveled from Ahmedabad to Mumbai for a week to train there and to get that kind of exposure from the Mumbai artists. And we've called a lot of faculty from Mumbai here to train
Wow.
at our space and at our campus as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
So that is one major thing that is happening currently. I'm working. with my dancers every now and then on a new presentation or a production of movement. So that is happening side by side. And like you mentioned, I'm also curating dance aspect of the Abhivyakti City Arts Project Edition 7.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
like a huge Gujarat's biggest arts festival that happens, which has theater, music, visual arts, and dance. And I'm curating the dance part of it. We get applications pan India, and we kind of put this 15-day festival in the month of November, December. And it's something extraordinary, absolutely. And yeah, so I'm curating dance for that. So these are the couple of things that I'm involved with currently.
Okay, one question this reminds me of something. So in Delhi also, the theater culture is really lively and really vibrant. However, pan India, I've never seen a festival related to dance. Something
Yeah.
that is
There
because
are
it's always
many.
about
It's
theater.
just
Dance is a part of theater, not
there
exclusively
are so
dance.
many dance festivals that are happening in India. It's just that people are not aware of it
Really,
to
we are
that
not.
extent.
Yes.
So, for example, there is Abhivyakti City Arts Project, like
Huh.
the biggest festival. It's like uh, it's uh, it's extraordinary. The art that is put there is something incredible, right? The
Hmm.
artists that come from all parts of the country, they
Hmm.
are absolutely stunning. And
Hmm.
you see it and you realize that, oh my God, like this is really happening in our own backyard. And this is something so great. Then
Hmm.
there are so many other festivals that are there. There's the Kala Ghoda Arts Festival that happens in Mumbai. There is Serendipity Arts Festival that happens in Goa. There's the Contact Dance Festival, the Indian Contact Dance Festival that happens in Goa again. So there are so many. There's Dance Bridges that happens in Kolkata. So many dance festivals that are taking place. It's just that it is very recent. It's like probably 7 to 10 years. People are now becoming more aware about these
Hmm.
festivals. These
Hmm.
festivals have
Hmm.
been very recent,
Like,
like
of course,
Abhivyakti
Kala Ghoda is
editions.
very famous. But I
Yes,
always
correct.
thought that Kala Ghoda is a amalgamation or a mixture of everything. Arts,
That generally happens.
fashion.
Such is the
Huh.
case with all these festivals majorly.
Hmm.
Like all these
Hmm.
big
Hmm.
festivals like Abhivyakti or Kala Ghoda, they put together like
Artists
a
from all
variety of
different.
performing arts. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
music, dance, theater, visual arts in Abhivyakti. Same
Sure.
happens with other festivals
Of
also.
course.
Like
Hmm.
Kala Ghoda also there is an amalgamation of different forms of
Hmm.
art.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then there are, and in that, Abhivyakti's speciality is that in that one language of the festival,
Hmm.
there are these four parallels running, which is visual arts,
Okay.
dance, music, and theater. So
Right.
every parallel has a different mentor, different curator, and that is how we kind of approach with Abhivyakti. So
Right.
it's different for in that sense,
Hmm.
majorly. So it's very interesting that so many things are happening in India, even with dance bridges or serendipity or all these arts festival. There is a uh, Shakti dance festival. There are so many festivals that happens in Oroville,
Hmm.
Pondicherry. So
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
these places, they are full of
Hmm.
these festivals, but it's just very recent. When you take the
Hmm.
timeline of the Indian classical dance festivals, like Indian classical festivals like Saptak or Spik Meke and things like that,
Ah.
they have been happening for 25 so many years. I mean,
Pikmake has been there for
in
ages,
comparison to
forever.
that, in
Yes.
comparison to that, these festivals,
Hmm.
the current contemporary festivals are very recent.
Hmm. 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 True. Okay. So, any chance of Abhivyakti traveling to other cities, or is it only right
In
now
Gujarat, it is
focusing
already
on
traveling to a lot of cities apart from them. So the
outside
main
of
festival, of
Gujarat?
course, is outside of Gujarat. See, I won't be the right person to say that
Okay.
because I'm just curating the dance part of the festival. Then it is on the management and what they decide, and
Okay.
how they would want to, how they envision it.
Right.
But definitely, from what I can tell you is that it has already traveled to a lot of other cities apart from Ahmedabad in Gujarat, though.
Okay.
So travel to Baroda, Rajkot, Surat, all these places.
Hmm.
And hopefully, let's see what the management decides, and hopefully, it travels outside of Gujarat as well.
Hopefully, yeah. So, another question that comes to mind is dance being a career choice or the opportunities in dance as far as one's career is concerned. So, like, initially in the first few questions, you had said that, and which is a reality in creative field, in creative arts, you don't really get paid very well in the beginning of your career. Maybe in later stages you do. So, how is dance perceived as a career?
Now people are more receptive towards it, definitely.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
As a career, I think our ancestors and our elders had a tough time if they wanted to pursue dance as a career option. But definitely, what I can tell you is that there are two aspects of it. One, to make a career in dance, only dance is not enough. Only
Okay.
talent is not enough. In
Mm-hmm.
today's world, we need to package it well. We need to have that strong sense of communication. We need to know how to talk, how to present our art, how to sort of put it on that world stage, so that it becomes that much more receptive and acceptable and appreciable by the audience. Second is that you got to stick to it. It won't give you the returns on day one. So you got to have a lot of patience and persistence. If
Mm-hmm.
you have these things, I think dance is a. I wouldn't want to choose any other career option but this, because it is, and practically also speaking, because I not just focused on dance, I learned it very early in my dance journey that in order to make a career out of it, just dance is not enough. You need to know how to package it. You need to know how to put it across. You need to have great communication skills, great marketing skills. You really need. It's like with every other creative, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you
Field.
should know how to put it across the table.
Of course.
So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So one another question. So there is an increasing fusion of global dance forms. So can you tell us some upcoming trends, movements in dance
Definitely. I think
that are
aerial
coming to
has
India?
aerial as an art form in itself has taken the center stage. People are on
Is
silks
it?
and on those, yeah, and on those
Okay.
hoops, and they are, because it's visually so exciting,
Fascinating, very
yeah,
fascinating.
it's
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
aspirational that, oh my God, how did she do it? Like, she dropped from the cloth, and she
Oh
still,
my
it's like
God.
magic in the air. So I think Ariel is really taking a center stage
Ah,
when it comes to art forms. I will not still call it a dance form, just like Kalaripayattu is a martial art form. Uh, aerial is an art form. It's like a separate art form, but then people tend to put it together with performing arts and dance and so on and so forth.
right.
So I think aerial is really, really getting that kind of an exposure,
Hmm.
and that kind of acceptance to make it into a separate dance form
Hmm.
altogether. So I think that with the advent of technology, a lot of people are using tech in their approach to dance. They're using a lot of visuals. There's a lot of LED work happening, a lot of lighting equipment. It's like a stage. So with the advent of technology, even the presentation becomes very different and very futuristic. So things that we once
Hmm.
considered as
Hmm.
undoable, today it is like it is the new normal. So when you see like these brilliant lights pan out on stage and these great visuals, like we were talking about the musicals,
Ah,
particularly like there is Rajathiraj, Azam, there was Aladdin that happened. They're all premiering in Mumbai.
right.
Uh, there are such great visuals that are there on stage,
Hmm.
which are used to again aid dance and its
Hmm.
presentation. I think that's brilliant.
Hmm. And one final question. What is your vision for your institute?
I think Dancing India is everything dance. We want to restore the dignity of dance, and just because we don't practice Indian classical dance forms primarily,
Mm.
doesn't mean that the contemporary and jazz and ballet as dance forms, they are less. What do you say? They are not less. Integral to the
Mm.
human growth and evolution. I think they are absolutely, they deserve that kind of dignity and respect. And that is what I aim to do with Dancing India. And I
Mm.
aim to the vision is to be the most the cutting edge dance training institute in the world. And we are looking at it from a very global approach, from a very 360-degree perspective, and not reducing dance to just one aspect of it. We want to treat it holistically, and we want to be at par and more than the international standards. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Wow. Congratulations and all the best.
we give scholarships.
You give
Yeah.
scholarships and but you also give loans, I guess.
Yes,
Am I
we do.
right? Yeah?
We do.
So
Yes,
this
we
is
do.
quite
So there are
unheard
certain
of.
students there are certain students that we feel they lack they are full of potential, but they lack the financial means to pursue that kind of career. For them, we provide a 100% scholarship, and we train them at our institute free of charge whatsoever.
Wow.
So that is something that I'm looking at very proudly, and something that we practice very actively at Dancing India. Yes.
That's a big commitment towards your love for dance,
I think
yes.
it is required. It is required in today's world because if you want your art to be respected,
Mm.
you need good artists. And sometimes good artists don't have the means to pursue that art form. And
True.
if you can be that somebody who can give them that kind of a platform, and you can
Mm.
give them that kind of a that help,
Mm.
I think you will be empowering somebody,
Mm.
and it
Mm.
will come back to you one day. If not you, then definitely the society and the art form at large.
Thank you, Gopal. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you
And
so much for having me.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So, friends, like and share my video and subscribe to my channel.